Hello and welcome to the second day of Advent of Code, a series of code problems we get for the series of December. This is day 2, and I thought today I'd switch it up. I used Rust yesterday, and I'm gonna use Typescript today. So let's see how it goes. So I thought I'd use Dino for TypeScript and stuff, but I don't have Dino, so I'm gonna have to install it. So perfect, it should be installed now. And it is. Perfect. Let's do a main.ts and make sure it works. Console rs. I'm bad at spelling. .ts. ts. t. That's why ts. Console.log. Hello world. Perfect, and let's run it. Dino main.ts. I run. Dino run. Run main.ts. Perfect. And let's also install the Dino extension. Perfect. Let's read day 2 then. Day 2, Red-Nosed Resort. Fortunately, the first location the historians want to search isn't a long walk from the chief historian's office. While the red-nosed reindeer nuclear fission fusion plant appears to contain no sign of the chief historian, the engineers there run up to you as soon as they see you. Apparently they still talk about the time Rudolph was saved through molecular synthesis from a single electron. They are quick to add that since you're already here, they'd really appreciate your help analyzing some unusual data from the red-nosed reactor. They turn to check if the historians are waiting for you, but they seem to have already divided into groups that are currently searching every corner of the facility. You offer to help with the unusual data. The unusual data, your puzzle input, consists of many reports. One report per line. Each report is a list of numbers called levels that are separated by spaces, for example. Okay. This example data contains 6 reports, each containing 5 levels. The engineers are trying to figure out which reports are safe. The red-nosed reactor safety systems can only tolerate levels that are either gradually increasing or gradually decreasing, so a report only counts as safe if both of the following are true. The levels are either all increasing or all decreasing, or any two adjacent levels differ by at least 1 and at most 3. In the example above, the reports can be found safe or unsafe by checking these rules. 76421 safe because the levels are decreasing, perfect. Unsafe because 27 is an increase of 5. Unsafe because 162 is a decrease of 4. Unsafe because 13 is increasing but 32 is descending. Unsafe because 4 is neither an increase or a decrease. Safe because the levels are all increasing by 1, 2, or 3. So in this example, 2 reports are safe. Analyze the unusual data from the engineers, how many reports are safe. Okay. And 2 adjacent levels, okay. Doesn't seem too hard, so let's get into it. First of all, let's have the example, and then also let's get the input.txt files. Boom. Perfect. Then let's begin. First of all, we need. Okay, let's make the text a little bit bigger. I can barely see this. Perfect. Let's begin by reading the content of the file. Let text equals dino.read dino. Why don't I have autocomplete? Okay, I shouldn't have deleted dino.json. That's my fault, I guess. I don't need a test. This is just, but dino.read file sync. And we're gonna read, let's begin with the example. Perfect. And it shouldn't be that hard. We should have let number of what did they call it? Number of safes. Number of safe reports. Maybe a bit of a long variable name, but I don't care. And it can be 0, and we'll loop through the line. So let const line of text dot split dot, what type is text? Uint data array. Can I just do string? Oh, this is a string. Text dot split at new line. And then we need the numbers. So const numbers equal line dot split with the space, and then each of them we want to make into a number. So s should be number s. This loops through all of the numbers in a line and makes them from strings to numbers. Let's call this thing numbers. So we'll have to loop through the numbers. So let's make this an index loop. Numbers dot length I plus plus, and then we'll check the difference between this one. Let's begin at 1 actually and check between numbers I minus 1 and the difference between that. We need the direction, so because they can only be increasing in one direction, so let direction equal 0, and then let's and we'll figure out the direction by taking numbers I minus 1, numbers 0, and take the difference between the next thing, numbers 1, and then get the sign of that. Is it math dot sign then? Math dot sign. Perfect. Now we have the sign of it. And if it's negative, that means it's increasing, and if it's positive, that means it's decreasing. So that's a bit unintuitive, so let's put the minus before that. So then let's take the diff. That's the difference between the two. And if so, the first test, because the diff has to be at least 1 and at most 3. So we can do it like this. If diff has to be more than or equal to 1, and diff has to be less than or equal to 3. So if this isn't true, then we know that this whole thing is then we know that this line is wrong because it increases wrongly. So then we can just break out a loop and not increase the number of safe reports. Actually, we'll do it like this. This is a bit bad, but I was thinking how we're gonna do it. If the list is completed, then let's increase the number of safe reports by 1. But here, because this isn't a safe report, let's decrease it by 1. Let's okay, that's the first check, and then we have to check that we can do this. We remove the sign there and just check that because it has to increase in the same direction. So the sign of the difference has to be the same as the direction sign. So if these aren't equal, that means number of safe reports should decrease by 1. And then we don't do the loop anymore. Perfect. And if both of these succeed, we increase the number of safe reports by 1. And that should be a constant because it doesn't change. So let's see if this works. Alright, we have to, at the end of it all, log the number of safe reports. 1. Okay, we have done something wrong, because the first one was 2. Let's do it like this. To figure this out, let's console.log the numbers, and then the number of safe reports, so we can see which ones are a success and which ones fail. That's weird, so we haven't read them correctly. Okay, what's wrong with the line? Okay, wait, it's a list. I am very confused right now. Let's log what we read as the file. Okay. This is not defined file though. Example.txt. Example.txt. Oh right, because this thing is a uint 8 array and I'm just making the array into a string. How do I make... Let's Google. Oh, we have to use a text decoder thing. Okay, so perfect. Let's do that then. Okay, let's run and check. Okay, now we read it correctly, but we still only get 1. So let's do this thing and see when it does increase. Okay. So the first one it sees as correct, but which other one is also correct? It's the last one. Okay. So this one it doesn't see it as correct. Why? Oh, I think it's... Oh, these have to be the absolute value. So let's make diff abs equals math.absolute value of diff, and then use that to compare. That's probably the error. Perfect, now we have the 2 correct ones. Let's do the input text and see if we're correct. 631. Let's check. Submit. Yes, the right answer. Perfect. Continue to part 2. Hopefully it isn't too hard. Part 2. The engineers are surprised by the low number of safe reports until they realize they forget to tell you about the problem dampener. The problem dampener is a reactor-mounted module that lets the reactor safety systems tolerate a single bad level in what would otherwise be a safe report. It's like the bad level never happened. Okay. Now, the same rule applies as before, except if removing a single level from an unsafe report would make it safe, then a report instead counts as safe. More of the above examples reports are now safe. Okay. I understand. Yeah, so let's do it. Okay. I don't like this block of code, so I'm thinking I'm gonna put this into into a function and then let the function do the thing. So let's make that function. Let's call it is report safe. It takes in a list of numbers as its first param, numbered list, you can call it, and that's a list of numbers, and it returns a boolean. And it's just this code, I think. And remove that, put that into this function, and then do the numbers list instead of numbers. And we also have to compute the direction. And instead of increasing and decreasing this thing, let's just return false. And this thing also just return false. And if we get to the end, return true. Perfect. Then, in here, we'll actually loop through all of the possibilities of numbers. So, I'm thinking we begin at -1, and if I is -1, we just give it the numbers. Otherwise, we'll remove one of the indexes and get to that. We'll remove one of the indexes and check that. So we'll go through, first check it with no ones, and then check without one of them, and do the whole thing. Perfect. So, first thing, if I is -1, then we just do is report safe on the numbers. That's the easy part. And we need to know if the thing is safe, so let's do a let variable safe equals false. And yeah, if the report is safe, then safe is true, and we'll break out of the loop. This feels bad, but it works. Then for all the other ones, we have to make a new list of the numbers and remove one of the indexes. So const copy, let's just call it copy, equals it's triple dot numbers you do, I think so. And then copy dot splice. This is the index, so that's I, and then with the number of things. No, splice, not slice, splice. Perfect, that. And we have removed them, and then let's check if is report safe with the copy now. And if it is, then safe is true. And we break out of the loop because we don't have to check anymore. And here we check if safe. And if it's safe, the number of safe reports can be increased by 1. So, let's do the example.txt and see if that works. Four, and what was the number? 4, in the example 4 are safe. Let's do the input text. 665, is that even more than we got last time? I guess it's a more, but let's see if that's correct. It is the right answer. Perfect. So, perfect. So thank you for watching day 2 of Advent of Code. This day I'll do it in Typescript. I don't know what language I'll do it the next day, but we'll see. And have a good one.